I come from South China Sea Fisheries Research Institute from Guangzhou. That's in the south of China, very close to Hong Kong and Macau. And this tower called Canton Tower is a symbol of Guangzhou. My talk contains 2 points. The first is the very brief overview of China's agriculture. And the second is the case study of ecological intensification. First is a small video I borrowed from the company's vlog called Yara. And I hope you can hear the voice of this.
2,600 years ago, Fan Li in Wu Dynasty of ancient China wrote the world's first monograph book on artificial fish farming. In 1957, for the first time in history, Professor Zhang Lin accomplished the fully artificial reproduction of Chinese carps in ponds. In 1983, Professor Zhu Zhuoyan developed the first transgene fish in the world. The technology of Chinese aquaculture was so splendid in history. And now, China is the world's largest aquaculture country. The magnitude of Chinese aquaculture accounts for 60% of that of the world. China is the world's biggest prawn manufacturer and consumer. China is also the largest manufacturer and exporter of tilapia in the world. The achievements in Chinese aquaculture.
That's all. Only 50 seconds. It's a brief introduction of the heroes in the history of China's agriculture. It begins with Fan Li. He is 460 years BC, very long time ago. Now, this is a chart of the fishery production in China from 1976 to 2018. And you only need to remember 2 years. The one is 1988. 1988, when the agricultural production exceeded the capture production. And in 2006, the marine agriculture production exceeded the marine capture production. And nowadays, agriculture is the only source of fishery production increment for China. And fisheries provide over 1/3 of the animal protein to our country. And the composition of the production, 40% is from mariculture and 60% is from inland agriculture. Well, among the mariculture, 70% of the production is from molluscs or shellfish, and 12% is from macroalgae production. You can see over 80% of the mariculture production is from very low trophic level shellfish and macroalgae. Well, in the inland agriculture production, it's mostly fish, over 85%, and the fishes are almost carps. The silver carp, big-head carp, grass carp, common carp, and also a small portion of tilapia. China produces 60% of the world's tilapia production. Well, for the carps, the silver carp and the big-head carp, they don't need feed. They don't need artificial feed. Well, for grass carp and the common carp, tilapia, their feeds don't need a very high protein content. So in general, the trophic consumption for the China's agriculture is quite low. It's not a very huge carbon consumer. And we produce more than 500 species. And there are over 280 local species, and we also introduced more than 80 species from abroad, like tilapia. And artificial bred 200 species. The total is over 550. That's a lot. This is the area distribution. For mariculture, on the coastal area, it's mostly shellfish and macroalgae. While on the coast, it's shrimp and fish ponds, and a small portion of fish cages. In the inland areas, over half of them are fish ponds, and then they culture the carps. Well, we also release carps in lakes and reservoirs. The new agriculture technology nowadays in China includes the biofloc, far offshore mariculture, and inland semi-alkali waters farming, while also the recycling agriculture systems. The biofloc technology in China, we are now used to culture shrimp and tilapia. These 4 pictures in the upper, they are from Nantong in the middle of China. And then the lower one is from Guangdong province in Yangjiang. They produce very well Vietnamese shrimp. It's developed by my colleagues here. And the second is the aquaponics or agro-agriculture. In fact, this kind of fish farming technology is a very traditional way in China, maybe thousands of years. But now we have more intensification. For example, the rice field farming, fish farming, and the blueberry with fish pond systems in South China, the sugarcane field combined with fish ponds is also in Guangdong in the south of China. It's very ecological. The other one on the coast is intensive AMTA. We combine shrimp farming with shellfish and macroalgae. In the base, we integrate fish cages with shellfish long lines and the macroalgae long lines together. In these systems, the waste of one species is another one's food or nutrition. They can benefit each other and increase the carrying capacity of the system. Well, a new trend in China now is the blooming of offshore and far offshore mariculture cages. For example, the deep blue one in Shandong and Changbo one also in Shandong, Genhai also in Shandong, Zhengyu, Dehai, and Penghu. They are from the south. These are very huge equipment, very expensive, well, but very efficient. Well, some of the technologies is still under development, I think, because the cost is high and a lot of risks on the offshore locations. For example, in Guangdong, we have very often typhoon. These are disasters and a very big challenge for these systems. Well, in the inland lakes, we are still encouraging the large-scale filter feeding species. They, for example, the silver carp, big head carps, they don't need artificial feeds. The silver carp, they feed on the phytoplankton, and the big head carp, the major food for it is the zooplankton. Because there's no feed input, so the water quality in these lakes continuously be improved. So it's a good thing. Well, that's the first part. Robert, should I begin to the second part, the case study?
There is a question, Changbo, in the chat. Pamela is asking, what is the production scale of the multi-trophic systems, if you have an idea?
Ah, okay, that's a very good point. Well, the multi-trophic systems are mainly carried out in the inland agricultural systems. For example, the grass carp and silver carp, big head carp, they are always cultured together, mostly because they live in different water layers. So I think at least half of the inland agriculture production is from the multi-trophic systems. Well, for the marine ones, the shellfish production and cage culture, I think they are normally combined together in the north and also in the south. So I think maybe 40% of the mariculture production is from multi-trophic systems.
Thank you. Another quick question from Patrick Sorgelos. Do you express seaweed? Do you express seaweed in dry weight?
Oh, I think it's not dry weight. I think it's a wet weight.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
There is another, but very, very long one. I don't know. Maybe Francisco can wait until the end of the talk for that. Because
Okay.
he's asking how do you regulate the wastewater treatment in China? Do you have detailed laws applied to IMT? How do you enforce water treatment throughout the country? So maybe this will deserve a talk on its own. But let's see, maybe you can try to address this question at the end of your talk.
For this question, I think the wastewater treatment regulation is still on the way, although the law was already released in 2015, that's 5 years ago, but the details of the enforcement is still on the way, and we are currently working on the standards of criteria of the effluent for agricultural ponds. We're still working on it. I think we will have a very clear standard for the contents of the wastewater when they release to the environment. And how do enforcement? I think the enforcement is from our environmental bureaus. They are keeping a very close eye on the fish farmers this year.
Okay.
Still working on, yeah, still working on it.
Thank you. if you could summarize then your second part in about, let's say, 10 minutes, if you can.
My second. Oh, no. Okay. Well, the first part is the overview of agriculture in China. Now, the second part is for my talk is about the progress of a shrimp rice aquaponic system. That's the work of my group in the recent 5 years, and we are still developing it. So, and we just published a paper on this in agriculture this year. So, okay. Before I go into the details, I will show you 2 pictures. The first one is the intensive ponds in Pearl River Delta in Guangdong. The species in these ponds are sea bass. This fish, this one. This is a satellite image from Google. We can see the ponds, this is the river, and this is the highway. In each pond, there are very intensive aerators. See, the sea bass needs very high dissolved oxygen. So we produce very high production of this fish in Guangdong. And this picture is another satellite image. It's intensive shrimp farms. We can see this, very intensive. We can imagine when they discharge the waste into the bay, it will be a real concern. So, but our agriculture industry has to develop. We cannot shut down every farm. So before the government put more pressure, we do some improvement to the system. Intensive monoculture for shrimp, and I think for most of the fatty fish, the monoculture is the major farming style, both in China and all over the world. It has 3 major problems. The first is the eutrophication of the environment. Second is the decreased survival and growth of shrimp or the fish. And also when the environment is eutrophicated or deteriorated, there will be very high risk of the disease. And in 2015, the State Council of China released an action plan for prevention and control of water pollution. That's the regulation for the effluent treatment of ponds. And this law is from the highest government, the State Council. So it's very serious. But normally, when the shrimp is harvested, the sediment will be pushed and or float into the river or the sea directly before, but now we have to treat it. The site of this experiment is in Zhuhai base of my institute. It's very close to Macau here. And this area is the Pearl River Delta. In the pond, the principle of this system is the fish or shrimp is cultured in the lower pond, and the rice or the paddy field is at higher land. But when the water surface is high enough, water level is high, their water body can be collected. You can see this. The benefits for this system is very obvious. First of all, is the particle pollutant can be pumped into the paddy field as a fertilizer for the rice, and the dissolved nutrients can be absorbed by the rice. So make sure good water quality for the shrimp. And when the water quality is improved, so the survival and growth of the shrimps will be better. And we have double harvest, shrimp plus rice. And we have low waste discharge. So this is a solution for the strict environmental laws. Well, in this system, the environment, the water is brackish water for shrimp. Well, you know, for most of the rice, they can tolerate only the fresh water. They can endure very low salinity, so lower than 3 ppt. Well, we are lucky that we got a saline rice or sea rice called. It can endure 9 ppt, the salinity, and it can grow very high, very high. We did a series of experiments or tests. This is a test for salinity of the sea rice. We can see different salinity, different growth result. It can endure a very long time of salinity lower than 6, but very short term over 9 ppt. But for most of the brackish water, the salinity is lower than 5, I think. The structure of the aquaculture or aquaponic system. See, this is the land, and this is the lower place for the shrimp culture. But at this stage, we are culturing the seedlings of rice here. We pump the sediment into the field, into the paddy field as fertilizer, and then we plant the rice on the upper land, and here will be for the shrimp. This is a video. You can see it's ready for the seeding of the shrimp. In the middle is the paddy field. Shrimp seeding. This is shrimp fries, small juveniles, post larvae. This is the feeding of the shrimp. When the water level has reached to the upper land, it's about 1.5 meters. And this is the handling of the rice. We can see the water is very clean. On the bottom, we can see the color of the soil is the yellow. It's not, it's full of oxygen, we can see. And also these are very intensive shrimps. These are the indexes. For the apparent indexes, water temperature, the pH value, dissolved oxygen, chlorophyll A, there are a lot significant difference between the monoculture shrimp ponds and the aquaponic pond, and also the rice field. Quite similar. These are at different time, different color. Okay, now the nutrient content in the pond water. On the upper layer is the shrimp rice co-culture system. We can see nitrate, and ammonia. we see this vertical axis, the value is very small, very small. See, but for the monoculture shrimp pond, we can see the nitrate here is around 1 milligram per liter. That's 100 times more than the aquaponic system. And this one is the nitrate. It's also around 3 milligram per liter. That's 40 times more than the aquaponic. This one, ammonia, it's around 0.3. It's more than 20 times of the co-culture system. These are the phosphorus, total nitrogen, total phosphorus. The same. We can see the dissolved environment is largely improved when we do the shrimp and rice aquaponics. Well, it's good for the shrimp, but it's not perfect. When we do the rice harvest, this picture shows the rice harvest after typhoon attack. All the rice is put down. We have to, the workers have to use small boats, so it's not convenient. It's a disaster. This is the shrimp harvest. It's also not very convenient. So we did improvement. We moved the paddy field to one side of the pond, and they just near, but they are not surrounded. So in this way, it is easier for machinery operations in the paddy field, also easier for shrimp feeding and harvest. We can combine them and we can discombine them. So in this way, we did another trial. Let's say we use the giant freshwater prawn combined with common rice. You can see this side is the rice field. The other side is the shrimp pond. They are connected now. For this one, the water temperature, we can see at the aquaponic system, the water temperature is 1 to 2 degrees lower than the monoculture pond, because the water in the rice field is cooler. The rice, they shield the sunshine during the summer, and this could benefit for the shrimp because of the high temperature disease. And another one is the transparency of the water. It's better for the shrimp. Well, the nutrient content also, they are lower: ammonium, nitrate, nitrite, phosphorus, and COD. They're all lower than the monoculture system. And the rice harvest is now very convenient. We can do it before the typhoon attack. And when we did the first harvest of the rice will regenerate again, and then it will absorb the nutrient from the water and will continue to improve the
environmental quality of the shrimp. And this the nutrient dynamics in the pond. And the lower one, the smaller one, is the aquaponic system. This is ammonia, nitrate, nitrite, and the phosphorus. You can see for the aquaponic system, the nutrient level is very low and stable. But for the monoculture system, it's high and more dynamic. And the shrimp growth in a aquaponic system, the growth is better and production is more, although it's not insignificant. And we did another one for the tiger shrimp with saline rice. This is the shrimp. Over there is the saline rice. And we got a production of tiger shrimp more than 7 tons per hectare, and the rice production is more than 5 tons per hectare. Well, the last part of my talk is the application of this model or this aquaponic system to the inland saline alkaline areas of China. This is the Google image of East Asia. We can see this is China, this is Russia, and the place of our application is in the Inner Mongolia called Erdos. In this area, it's very dry, very cold most of the time, and there are very sufficient sunshine, but very low rainfalls. So there are a lot of saline alkaline areas. The soil is salty. We also have our second largest river there called Yellow River. So the Yellow River can bring water, fresh water to these areas. But when the water into the ponds, the water is tiny. So most of these lands are wasteland. They cannot grow crops, and the water is saline and alkaline with very high alkalinity. Common fish and shrimp cannot survive. Well, for the air temperature here, the Erdos in Mongolia, from June to middle September, the air temperature is around 25 degrees centigrade. So we have less than 4 months. This is a perfect time for one season of shrimp growth development. This is the work we are doing now. So this is this place. We can see this image, this triangle area. It's a wasteland before 2018. See, this is in 2019. Lot of salt on the surface of the soil. We can see it. It's white, and from 2019 we began to construct pilot ponds at this edge area, and then last year we construct a series of rice field with shrimp ponds. You can see paddy field, pond, paddy field, pond, one by one. This is actually a aquaponic system. This year, we can see the progress. In March, this is in June, we do the seedling of the rice, and the end of June, the rice, they grow up. And currently, the rice grew is much higher, and we are very hopefully to harvest some eco rice products this year. And also, the shrimp are at this size now, so it's very high quality shrimp because of the alkalinity of the water is very high. So the taste, the flavor of this shrimp is much better than the brackish water on the coast. And also we cultivate the hairy crab in the ponds. So it's another product. It will be very expensive during the middle on the mooncake festival. So for this application of or model, the benefits is that we can restore and reclaim the saline-arid lands. The lands were used to be wasteland. They cannot grow crops, cannot culture fish. Now we can culture shrimp and grow rice. And we can develop the rural economy with very high value products. And also we improve the employment welfare of the people locally. So this is encouraged by the government now.
Okay.
So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.